Greetings, citizens, and thanks for tuning in to Nindie Nation. I'm Jeff, and today on episode 128, we're taking a look at every indie game hitting the Nintendo Switch through the week ending December 12th. You can find us on Twitter, come chat with us on Discord, or check out some of the week's releases with us right here on YouTube every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern during our Nindies at Night stream. We've got an interesting list of games this week. Lots of stuff for those of you looking to expand your mind palace. We'll get there in due time, citizens, but first, let's see if we missed anything since last week. These are the 2 Neglected Nindies that released since episode 127. Nebula Design is a newcomer to the eShop, and I'm pretty impressed with their first effort. Iridium is a space shooter that does things a bit differently, but I think in a good way. It plays like a side-scrolling shmup, kinda, because you can change directions and control the speed of scrolling. This gives the game more room for exploration and pacing as you search for all kinds of currency and the upgrades you'll use it for. It looks great visually and released by way of
Us Coders
for $11.99. And then the pranksters at
Game National
published 0x0 Minimalist. If you're seeing what I'm seeing, I think we can all agree that regardless of what they think, minimalist is not an appropriate synonym for lazy bullshit. I'll see if I can nab a copy of Iridium for Nindies at Night, cause I think it looks pretty slick. But with that out of the way, let's keep this train rolling with the 13 new releases hitting the Nintendo Switch through December 12th. The first new release of the week drops on Tuesday, December 7th, and is among the priciest of all indies we've ever covered. Does this new title by Revolution and Microids justify its price? Well, maybe. See, Beyond a Steel Sky is the long-awaited sequel to Beneath a Steel Sky, a cult classic point-and-click cyberpunk adventure that released on the PC way back in 1994. Its development team includes art direction from one of the artists for Watchmen and is developed by Charles Cecil, who is responsible for the Broken Sword series. All of that to say, if you are a longtime fan of PC adventure titles, there's a lot of big names attached to this new release. You play as a man from a community of desert wasteland dwellers who's tracking down an abducted child thought to be held in one of the last megacities. Playing as a narrative adventure, you'll travel through a post-cyberpunk world of drama, humor, and puzzles, and I have a feeling that quite a few of you are going to be pretty stoked to check out Beyond a Steel Sky when it launches for $39.99. On the opposite end of the genre spectrum comes
Love 3
by Fred Wood and Screenwave Media. For $9.99, you'll run and jump through the third iteration of this challenging retro platformer where you set your own checkpoints with a unique risk versus reward mechanic. The first 2 games were very well received, and not only do you get a bunch of new levels in
Love 3,
but you also get every level from the first 2 iterations completely rebuilt in the threequel's new engine. If you're on the hunt for a precision platformer this week, don't miss
Love 3.
And then, oddly enough, somewhere in between the beautiful narrative puzzle solving and precision platforming of the last 2 titles, we get something that's kinda right in the middle with Ever Forward by Pathia and PM Studios for $14.99. It's a 3D puzzle platformer with a heavy emphasis on the puzzle, where you play as a young girl named Maya lost in a strange, dreamlike world. You'll run and jump while also leveraging teleportation and gravity control, intermixed with stealth and observational puzzle solving. That's a long way to say that this game looks like a great fit for those of you looking to work every corner of your brain. Then we've got a couple of games that don't necessarily get the Nindie no-no treatment, but I'm hard-pressed to recommend. 9-Ball Pockets is a pool or billiards game for $5.99 by Super Power-Up Games, and it looks fine, I guess. And then for $4.99 we get Ball Lab, which, even by the name, just seems lazy. It's a 2D take on maneuvering a ball through trap-filled mazes and just With such primitive visuals that lack any sense of character, it feels more lazy than it does a design choice. All the more reason why I can't tell why this requires the combined efforts of Victor Yurchuk, Ratalaika, and East Asia Soft. But we're going to be seeing a lot more of them soon. On Tuesday, December 8th, we get yet another game meant to tease your brain, but this one might also soil your pants, as the first-person sci-fi Lovecraftian puzzle adventure, whew, that's a mouthful, Transient Extended Edition launches for $16.99. It's published by Iceberg Interactive and developed by Stormling Studios, who also created Conarium and Darkness Within. If you want to solve puzzles and you like the imagery you're seeing on screen, maybe check it out. And then, geez, what is up with the puzzles and the point-and-click adventures and games requiring you to think? Can a guy just veg out and play a roguelike or what? Anyways, at least this is a really good one. The classic anthropomorphic buddy cop duo Sam and Max return this week in Sam and Max Beyond Time and Space, which comes by way of Skunk Ape Games for $19.99. I'm not a huge fan of this genre, but Sam & Max is always a genuinely funny and overall great time. If you've never played one of these games, Hit the Road is probably my favorite, but this latest HD remaster is guaranteed to make you laugh and tickle your brain meat. And now, my friends, we move to the big Thursday drop and kick the day off in style as the hotly anticipated Loop Hero finally releases on Switch with a 10% discount for $13.49. This nominee for Indie of the Year by most gaming outlets takes the notion of a roguelike dungeon crawler, but instead of directly controlling the hero in this adventure, you watch as he marches through an endless loop of dungeons while you place cards that direct his action and the journey as a whole. I probably wouldn't have paid much attention to this game as that description doesn't sound all that fun to me, but boy did this game blow up when it released on PC back in March. I mean, it just seemed like everyone was playing and loving this game, and I can't wait to try it. Come join us for Nindies at Night this Thursday, and let's find out if Loop Hero is all it's cracked up to be. And I really hope it is, because it comes fully loaded with procedurally generated levels, rogue-like mechanics, and RPG elements! It's been at least a year since we've last seen a game from Phoenix, but the last one was Touhou Luna Nights, so I'm definitely paying attention when their next game hits the Switch this week, but I'm not nearly as excited. Kubanashi Recollection is a pixel art action puzzle platformer,
Again.
where you play as one of the Touhou Project characters named Siki Banki.
Maybe.
You platform around, attack enemies, and break blocks with your head, find keys, and then track down the doors that those keys open. That doesn't sound all that great to me, and at $10 seems a bit pricey, but I don't know. I'll watch for reviews, and maybe it'll surprise us. Witchwood is one of those games that definitely has an audience out there. Dropping for $20 by developer Alien Trap and publisher Whitethorn Digital, it's a crafting adventure all about exploring a storybook-like world, gathering ingredients, and concocting spells as a witch. With a lighthearted approach that should be a fit for all ages, I can't wait to see what you citizens think when you get your hands on Witchwood. Rogue Games is a publisher that we've talked about before, and I really like that they've seemed to nail straddling the line between being a mobile publisher who can put their games on the Switch without, publishing mobile games that shouldn't be on the Switch. Does that make sense? This week, they wrap up the big Thursday drop with Super Impossible Road with a 20% discount for $16.99. And it's basically Super Monkey Ball meets F-Zero, a gritty sci-fi world where you play as balls racing down impossible tracks,
No pun intended.
but always appreciated.
where the only way you'll win is to go flying off the track into a very well-placed track down below. For this type of game, $17 is a bit too steep for my tastes, but this one is going on my wish list for sure. And then on Friday, December 10th, we've got two games, both of them include Ratalaika games, both of them are visual novels, and the first of which is A Year of Springs, developed by for $4.99. With a colorful storybook aesthetic, again, you follow the stories of 3 women who are navigating their feelings of love, connection, and just wanting to belong. The other one, Memories of East Coast, is developed by Ruma Games with publishing help from East Asia Soft, also for $4.99. This one is set to the backdrop of lo-fi music as you follow Sam through a meditative trip through his past. It's got hand-drawn artwork, includes real-world issues, whatever that means, and looks extremely chill. So what do you think? Anything jumping out in this shorter-than-usual week? I can't wait to play Loop Hero, and while I'm not personally interested, I'd love to see what people think of Beyond a Steel Sky and Witchwood. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Now that we're back in the regular swing of things with Black Friday behind us, we've got a few deals worth picking up. Nothing too incredible this week, but some beloved Nindies of yesteryear are on sale that are definitely worth diving into. These are the 8 Nindie deals at their lowest prices ever, on sale through at least December 12th. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin is probably my biggest point of guilt in my backlog. We played it on Nindies at Nite, I loved the hack-and-slash action RPG gameplay, and while I can appreciate the farming aspect, I was glad that it was possible to automate it. The game was gorgeous and just an absolute feast for the ears and eyes to play through. If you've been considering it, check it out while it's 45% off for just $21.99. If you've got friends or family in the house to play a game with, might I suggest Unrailed, the voxel-style active puzzler where you have to guide a train through an isometric world. It's super fun, very accessible, and a blast to play with a couple of friends. Unrailed is currently seeing a 75% discount and is on sale for just $4.99. And I always gush about Horizon Chase Turbo, but if you've already exhausted that game, or you want something that leans a little bit more into the Daytona USA style of 90s racers, you gotta check out Hot Shot Racing. Even more so than Horizon, Hot Shot features some light RPG mechanics to make replaying races and upgrading your car fun for if you just have a few minutes to kill or you're gonna play all night long. At just $3.99, an 80% discount makes Hot Shot Racing its most attractive price yet. And a wonderful Metroid-style game that we haven't covered in a while, Outbuddies DX is currently 67% off for $5.99 and is a perfect fit if you wished Axiom Verge 2 was a little more like Axiom Verge 1. In this sci-fi themed exploration platformer, you'll get all the thrills of a Metroid game that you're looking for and is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated and underappreciated games for the Switch. And speaking of a game that not enough people played, Aerial Knight's Never Yield seemed to have a lot of hype, but then just kinda came and went without much of a whimper. And that's a shame because while this game is pretty short, clocking in at about an hour, it's very replayable and the music is fantastic. There's a demo if you want to check it out first, and if you like it enough to dive in further, you can do so while it's 30% off for just $8.39. Sometimes we don't need the best games of the year to keep us busy, and that's what I love about Goblin Sword. It's a side-scrolling action RPG platformer that looks great and is just simple enough to keep your hands busy while you watch something else on TV. I highly recommend Goblin Sword, especially while it's 60% off for just $1.99. And winning the award for a weird indie that surprised me more than anything else this year, Epistory Typing Chronicles is a beautiful fairy tale storybook RPG that, you guessed it, is completely controlled by typing on a keyboard. Really, this game is wonderful. If you have an appropriate setup for this game and a spare keyboard on hand, I really recommend it. And right now, it's 60% off for just $5.99. Last up for the deals this week is a game that I just have to use music from every time it's featured on the show, because it's just that good. The Bug Butcher is a very simple game. You run left and right while shooting up at enemies, and that's just about it, but it does it so well. Outside of that, it looks great, plays like a dream, is a blast in co-op, and is fun from start to finish. Best of all, the Bug Butcher is back at its lowest price ever, 75% off, also for just $1.99. Now, cue the Bug Butcher music swell. Man, I love this jam. And you know what? I love all of you too. Thanks for watching today and helping get this channel back on track. If you want more Nindie Nation, like this video and come hang out with us on Discord. Sorry we had to cancel Nindies at Night last week. I had some RAM die on me and I just got it replaced. We'll be back on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern this week to check out Loop Hero, and I'm hoping to have a stream before then so that we can catch up on last week's scheduled games. Set your YouTube notifications to make sure you don't miss an unexpected live stream, and we'll see you later this week. Next week, we've got Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, and I cannot wait for that game. And there's a couple other Nindies worth getting excited for too. But that's all for next week, citizens, and we're all done for today. Thanks so much for watching, liking, leaving a comment, subscribing, and sharing Nindie Nation with others. Until next week, I'm Jeff. This has been Nindie Nation episode 128. And remember, no matter what type of game you're looking for, Nindie Nation will be right here to help you find just the thing to keep your Joy-Cons synced.